Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the show, episode 450. Today's, July 31st, 2025. And we got a great guest for today, Izzy Wrestling's very own Izzy Martinez and Chief Operating Officer over at Real American Freestyle. There we go. 1, 2. What's up,
everybody?
Yeah.
What's up, baby? Good to see you again, brother. How's everything?
Things are great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing roll. We're rocking and rolling.
Amen. Yeah, you guys are just a month, one day less than a month away from the premiere debut of Real American Freestyle, and I guess it's kind of a somber note, but we'll start with Hulk Hogan. Like I grew up, in the '80s, and I was like a rabbit. I was a huge WWF fan, and like right at the right age to just get thrust in the highway of Hulkamania, and like this guy was amazing, and I know when you had The Undertaker and John Cena and whoever down the road that are big, The Rock, that are these big superstars, but none of it's possible without Hulk Hogan and what he did for entertainment in the 80s and 90s and beyond, and just captured the imagination of kids like me around the globe, and was unbelievably charismatic in the ring, and just wow. And so, hats off, respects, and condolences, of course, to the passing of Hulk. And who was? How did you guys even? How'd you?
Just
meet Hulk Hogan?
You're getting on this interview. You know what you're doing. You're talking to Bader. We're going to talk about Ben Askren. We're talking about Real American Freestyle. We're going to talk about Hulk Hogan. And you got all these thoughts in your head, and then all of a sudden you start bringing up Hulk, and all the first thing I think about is, him putting his arm around me and saying, brother, Izzy, how the Izzy Maniacs doing? How's everybody doing? And, you're the way you can relate to people. And I'm excited to do this league with you. And I'm excited for everything you've, introduced me to in the wrestling world. And that's my first initial reaction when I hear Hulk's name or I see Hulk stuff, is just, you grow up your whole life watching Hulk Hogan on the TV. My parents weren't financially able just to get every WWE, every new TV. So when we were able to watch Hulk Hogan, it was a blessing. I mean, me and my brother were growing up, doing the leg drop. We were doing the ear. I mean, we grew up as huge fans of Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan to be somebody that was that brought the world together. Literally every type of person. He was just an amazing guy. And then all of a sudden, so I'll take you back to kind of how I met him.
Yeah.
We do these summer camps every year at Izzy Style, and they're the Monday through Wednesday for all the kids that that they got things going on the weekend, travel, vacation, lake house, whatever it is. We do these camps. So kids that are in town for 3 days, they're in town, they can do camps, they can leave. It's an amazing situation on how we do our summer system here in Chicago. So I meet this one gentleman, he brings his son in, and Danny's like, this guy won't leave the gym, but we didn't know his wife was sick, so that we ended up becoming friends with this guy. His son's a stud, his name's Chase. Anyway, a couple weeks later, finally his father reached out to me and was like, hey, Izzy, what we've seen with our son, and just the excitement he's coming home at the gym and whatnot. I'd like to, piggyback off of what you're doing and bringing some of this intensity back to Florida, where I'm from. But also I'd like to do some work with you, man. I'd like to do some business with you, man. I got these crazy ideas about wrestling. I wrestled in college, or he said he was gonna wrestle in college. He's a wrestler by heart, So I meet this guy named Chad Bronstein, and Chad's son came to our clinics for 3 weeks. And then Chad's telling me this stuff, and I'm just, like most wrestling dads, you're just like, whatever, dude, get out of here. I know what you really want,
Yeah.
But the dude was cool, man. He was a very genuine guy, and I've been around a lot, so I can filter through the bullshit right away.
Yeah.
The guy was a phenomenal guy, and after our second conversation, he told me, hey, man, I'd like to introduce you to Hulk Hogan. I launched a beer company with Hulk Hogan, and I've been working with him for the last 3 years. And at that point, you're just like, dude, this is crazy. Like, who is this dude?
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets Hulk on the phone. And Hulk's like, "Hey, brother, Izzy, how you doing?" And it just was surreal for there. He was Chad mentioned he wanted to do something with wrestling and something big into wrestling, and I was all ears, right? And then he said, "Let's do a big event for Real American Beer, and we'll sponsor Real American Beer. We'll sponsor one big event." And I was like, all I think about when I think about like the gangsters event of all time is Bloodsport. So I'm like, let's bring some of that into wrestling, like let's do one big tournament, 250,000, 5 weight classes, $50,000, winner take all. Let's rock and roll. Chad's like, let's do it. And you're like, holy shit, he really said, let's go, So then he's like, dude, Hulk can't wait. Hulk wants to talk to you about this. Izzy, with the beer involved, we got something going here. And I was like, well, great. How can I get involved? How do we keep moving forward? So that week, Hulk Hogan and Chad Bronstein asked me to come to Ohio University or to Dayton, Ohio, and go to a beer tour with them. Meet Hulk, hang out with Hulk, hang out with Chad, talk to some of his investors were there, some very smart people. Chad's a great guy. He saw me coach his son, wanted me to bring him in and do business with me. That's basically how it started. Got to hang out with Hulk that night. Got to become friends with him. Not really friends. He's Hulk Hogan, so
Yeah.
I've been used to hanging out with celebrities before or famous people before. So I just give them their space, say hi to them. Anyway, Hulk ended up sitting at the table I was at. We ended up talking, and then the dream started. Chad really wanted to help the sport of wrestling, and he knew that I was a linchpin to get to all the athletes and all the wrestling people. He was the financial guy and the business savvy guy that could put it together. And Hulk was our big old push, as far as getting the media out there,
Yeah.
getting our name out there. And so we put our heads together and we said, let's rock and roll. Real American Beer led to Real American Freestyle Wrestling. 31 days away from our first event in Cleveland, Ohio. We're rocking. We are excited.
That's awesome. Obviously, the news of Hulk's tragic and upsetting to many. How, if at all, does that impact Real American Freestyle?
Well, I think the only way that's kind of hurtful is that our boy Hulk isn't going to be with us, right? He's going to be in heaven, and we know that. The real believers, the real people out there understand where Hulk's going to be, and he's going to be watching down, and he's already working for us up there. We're getting calls, we're getting investors, we're getting WWE involved, we're getting mega people that have talked to Hulk about what we were doing. Hulk was very adamant about growing wrestling, building this league with us. That's the worst part about this, unfortunately, is Hulk's not going to be right by our side, but he's going to be there with us. We're moving full steam ahead. My mom passed away a while back. My aunt passed away a couple of days, 8 years almost now. You know, you push hard for their legacy. You push hard for the people that believed in you. And Hulk Hogan believed in Izzy Martinez, and Hulk Hogan believed in wrestling. So we're not going to let him down. The wrestling community isn't going to let him down, and either is Izzy Martinez and our team at Real American Freestyle. We're moving forward. We're super excited. We got a lot of great things going, and yeah, we're pumped.
So this originally the concept, like, you meet Chad and things are great, and he wants to help wrestling, and you push these ideas together, and then it was like, maybe the original idea was a tournament format, and it's changed, right? Because is it a belt system, or is it's a UFC card type style?
What's cool about it is that when you're with thinkers and entrepreneurs, you're spitballing. So you're going for every different direction, whether it's team ownership. We sat with USA Wrestling. We've met with all the players already. So we've heard every avenue on which way people would go. We wanted to do one big tournament. One big tournament led into, dude, that's not enough. How are we going to do one big tournament? We're going to end up doing these. And then it led to where we are now. Now we're a full-on league, professional wrestling. We get to pay these guys to compete. We're putting these guys in, big events. We're trying to do 10 to 12 a year. We're getting ready to launch our farm system, the Izzy Style series, where we get not the premier athletes that we have right now currently, but our farm system to get into the Real American Freestyle. We're all in. We got a great team, Left Lane Capital. We got some great people, investors that are behind us, and we got the who's who of the sport. We got the baddest dudes in the world, and we definitely got the best wrestlers in America.
This has been tried before, right? In a number of different ways and different avenues. And I don't think ever with the backing like this, but what are the things to watch out for? Why have these other leagues, and probably Real Pro Wrestling, the last one that had a legitimate kind of push back in early 2000s maybe, but what is it going to take to, why are these other things failing, and how can this, avoid that?
I wasn't in on the groundworks with these other businesses as I am right now in 4 or 5 hour meetings a day,
Yeah.
Conferences as I am now with Real American Freestyle. I can tell you why I think we're going to succeed, but I'm not going to go in that direction, right? Basically, what I'm saying, Bader, is when this other leagues were starting, there was no social media.
Yeah.
There was nobody knew who any of these guys were unless you were in the sport of wrestling.
Yeah.
And then to get access to their lives, to get access to who each and one of these, as you know, awesome people are,
Yeah.
wrestlers, right? The passion, the charisma, the excitement, the hard work. Like, we're telling stories. Real Pro Wrestling and these other leagues, they were great for the sport, but
Yeah.
they didn't have the young vision of social media, TikTok. Back then, you couldn't even celebrate. If you celebrated, you were like the bad person with bad parents, and you were raised the wrong way,
Yeah.
and it was like, now you got Conor McGregor go, now you got the biggest superstars in the world, and our wrestlers are watching. You watch Bo Nickel, you watch David Carr, you watch our wrestlers, you watch the most respected wrestlers that we have even in our roster. They're showmen now. They're different. The Doug Schwabs of the world, where that dude was a freak, Bono, all these guys. Thank you. Those days are over, guys. You're allowed to shove his head in the mat. You're allowed to talk shit to him. That's what the kids want to see. That's what people want to see. We are here to put on a show. We have to get wrestling outside of this box. And the only way to do that is to allow wrestlers to be themselves. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to allow these guys to tell their own story. Social media is huge. I'm sure you know.
Sure.
The billions of impressions that we've brought into the sport already have been never seen before. So that side of it. Obviously, the showman side of it now it's allowed, right? And also, now we got a big push. We have a big push with, guys, do wrestling fans really want this? Are we the WNBA? Are we wrestling that's going to support our own people? Are we going to come out of the woodwork? Is this what we've all dreamed about? Is this something that we've all wanted? Yes. Then get your asses off your couches, get in there and support us, right?
Yeah.
Get online, buy the pay-per-view that's going to be $7 and support us, and that's what I think we have more than anything. This isn't a cry to support, it's the message, right? And the message back then was a polite message. We're starting a Real American or a Real Wrestling League, and we hope that everyone. No, guys, I went out on a limb here, guys. I could have stayed in my own bubble with Izzy Style and Illinois Batman, and we could have ran a pretty successful career here, right? But I stuck my neck out. I convinced Hulk Hogan, Chad Bronstein, Eric Bischoff, like, this is worth it, guys. This is worth your time, effort. This is the greatest sport in the world with the greatest people in the world, and it's time to showcase this sport. And I think that's what we're doing a little different than what they've done in the past.
Sure. And you talk about allowing them to be themselves and celebrate and showmanship. Is there any of that that's going to be encouraged?
I mean, it's like anything. You who wants to watch someone boring?
Yeah.
You want to be a star? It's up to you guys, right? And I think that's the end of the day. I shouldn't have to tell anybody. You want to fail? Then you know how to fail, right?
Uh-huh.
You want to be a showman? You don't have to be. I mean, we have great guys on our league. They're like, Izzy, I don't get crazy. I don't do this. I don't do that. Well, I said, well, at least be yourself. Don't shut down when the camera's around because you're worried about being judged. There's so many kids out there that would love to see certain pieces of these guys just being normal rather than being fake. And I think that there is nothing fake about this. We don't have to encourage people to overact or over be someone they're not. Just be yourself and let's show, because there's a lot of kids watching that are just like you watching, you know?
Okay. So questions just like on, is it going to be a belt system? Did I hear eight men's and 4 women's? Is that right?
Yeah, so we're super excited. You know, we ruffled a little feathers. We got rid of a weight in the middle, so it's 205, and then it's unlimited. So that's one of the cool things about it. But yeah, we're gonna run this thing just like the UFC, just like there's got to be a champion, and there's got to be a ranking system, and guys want to climb the ranking system, and ultimately, you want to be the Real American Freestyle champion because you're getting paid. You're getting paid, you're competing, you're the star, you're getting the views, you're building your own brands. I mean, you got the spotlight. And right now, Real American Freestyle has the spotlight for our guys. So we anticipate on giving out 7 world titles for the men and 2 world titles for the women on August 30th. So who better than Kennedy Blades, one of the greatest pound for pound wrestlers right now in the world, returning silver medalist, and also who better than Sarah Hildebrandt, pound for pound, one of the greatest of all time. You know, Olympic champ is coming back. So we're going to give out 7 men and 2 women, and then we got a double weight class going. So we're not giving out a belt there.
What's the double weight class, and who are the matchups?
All right, so I don't know if you guys know all the matchups. We got 2 left to announce, so I gotta be careful there. But we're super
Come on,
excited,
Izzy.
right? Yeah. We're super excited. We're pumped about Yanni. Yanni's wrestling Bajarain. That's gonna be a banger, right? I mean, they wrestled back in 2021 when Yanni was a 4-timer and Bajarain is top in the world, and now tides have changed a little bit. Their lives are a little different, you know.
Yeah.
And we got 2 premier wrestlers competing. We got 2 super awesome matches for the fans, right? It's not always about putting together matchups that sometimes aren't fan friendly. You watch the UFC and people are tuning in because they're not putting 2 guys that are going to be boring together.
Right.
So we brought Real Woods, after fresh off his world team trial win, he's wrestling Darian Caldwell, 2-time NCAA champ, 2-time Bellator champ. You know, the guy can fight, he can wrestle. He's old school, so all the old school guys remember him throwing that Splato on Metcalf. So they're good shit talkers. They're excited about putting on a show. So Real Woods is going to wrestle Darren Caldwell. Austin Gomez is wrestling Lance Palmer, and we're bringing Lance Palmer back. He's always been a great friend of ours. He's a competitor. PFL has kind of gone a little sideways at times. So Lance isn't fighting as currently as he wants. And it's just perfect. He's a great ambassador of the sport. He's super intelligent. So he's working with us on the other side of this also. But we got some great matchups. We're super excited. Bo Nickel, Jacob Cardenas is going to be a banger also.
Heck yeah. I mean, and we don't think we've seen Bo wrestle since the Olympic trials in 2021. So we've seen him fight. And it's going to be exciting. And this isn't a question for you. This is a rhetorical, but I'm curious because he's a killer, but he's not wrestling full time. And Cardenas is really good. And has Bo lost a step? You would imagine. So no disrespect, but just because his focus is completely on fighting, and that's not to say he's not still a stud on the mat. The rule set, is this straight up what USA Wrestling and UWW freestyle rules, or is this?
So we're, obviously we're not going to take shots at people, right? But our job is to keep this sport. Is the Olympic champion is a goal. Yeah. You should want to be an Olympic champion in this sport, world champion, Real American Freestyle champion. We're not shifting from that thought process, right? Kennedy Blades isn't learning a new concept of wrestling to wrestle in this league. she is going to continue to do what she's doing to be the best wrestler in the world. And that's what Real American Freestyle is. We are a straight, the things that we've changed, there's 3 2-minute periods instead of 2 3-minute periods. We believe there's going to be a little bit more action. Guys get a little bit of a break. There's also time to tell, hey guys, jump up on that storyline. There's a 25-second time for a clip about an athlete. So there's a lot of things that we've done slightly different, but no rule changes, except one. Last point scores. There's not going to be a confusion. So if you do 4 2s and it's 7 to 8, and I've done 7 push-outs, if I score last, I win. Last person scores win. We don't have time for fans that don't know wrestling to start trying to learn this rule set.
Wait, who got a 4? Who got a 2? Wait, how many 2s? How many push-outs did he get?
Exactly. We want to push this sport forward with the rule set that's going. So that's the minor adjustment. And I think USA Wrestling, UWW, I think they're going to experiment with changes also as we try to make this sport a little bit more entertaining, but better for the performance. And I believe our athletes are going to perform best when they know they don't have to get a 4 at the end. They only need 1 point.
Yeah.
Or they only need this. So now they don't have to do some irrational move or not compete as hard as they would because they thought they already lost. Now it's going to be competitive from whistle to whistle.
I like that. So the 3 2-minute periods and the last point wins on criteria no matter what. Did you say there was 3 or were those the only 2?
Those are the only 2.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I can get on board with that. How about what's about weigh-ins? Day of, day before?
All right, so day before weigh-ins and a press conference. So Friday, we got a weigh-in at 3:30, and then we got our press conference at 5:30. So it'll be great. You know, we got all the news networks in Cleveland. We are really doing this with production-based focus, right? We are focusing on the productions. We want, if you can't make it there, we still want you to have a great experience.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that we are striving for. So our press conference is going to be awesome. Day before weigh-ins, we're excited.
Fight of the night, right? When these are fight, are there UFC does fight of the night, submission of the night? Are they used to, right? Knockout of the night, all these is there incentives for
So I think it's like the UFC does also, right? I've been very fortunate, Bader, and I think you're very well aware of this. Is that I've been in the UFC since 2008 at the highest level, right? I've been in over 15 UFC world title fights as a coach. I've been able to train some of the best athletes, but most importantly, I've been able to hang out with the best of the best, dinners with Dana and Lorenzo, and been able to sit down with their production crew and I mean beers with their social media team, and you're doing these embedded series with John Jones, and you're doing all these things, and you're learning. And you're learning and you're learning and you're learning. So one of the things I know is that I loved it when Dana White would come in the back and say, hey, this is a discretional bonus between me and you also. Here's an extra 1,000 for this, here's and bigger numbers, but that's what I got planned. I got planned wrestler of the night, match of the night, performance of the night. And then if you do some big moves and you're entertaining, you're going to get rewarded. And I think that's easy to be said, right? I think that's what people want. If I'm winning 7-5 or 7-2, and if I know I can get this tech fall for an extra $500 or $1,000, I'm gonna push. I want to make those pushes. So we got some discretional bonuses, but we definitely have ones that public know about: match of the night, wrestler of the night. So we got some exciting things to announce in the next couple of weeks. So I don't want to leak it out. It's part of our press to release through this. But I told Ben Askren also, I'd give Bader one thing that no one knows. And that's the signing of Wyatt Hendrickson. And Wyatt is going to be competing on our first card, August 30th.
Really?
And we are super, super excited about that. Stay tuned for his matchup, because it's another big name.
Don't tell me. Is it Gable? Tell me. Oh, that would be something.
Let's not get crazy, Bader. I said I'd give you a little bit. Don't get creepy. Don't get
That was on
creepy.
my list of questions here. Like, is that? And I
I
just,
know what. It's my job to throw you off a little bit too, Bader.
yeah. I didn't think he would be wrestling in the first event because I know they go to Worlds a few weeks later. But that was in my head, like event 2 or down the road. Could we see a Gable Wyatt rematch? Could that? I mean, that would
Well,
be.
I will say this. Gable is great friends with our great friends, and Gable's a great wrestler. He ain't gonna let anybody steal the show. I mean, if there's the baddest world man in the world, if it was the fight game and it was the baddest man in the world, John Jones is gonna show up.
Yeah.
I think, and there's some money to be made, and that's what I gotta say. We got the best wrestlers in the world. We talked to Gable a lot. We talked to all the best guys. When the timing is right, we're gonna put together the best matchups that the fans want to see.
There's another name I haven't heard associated yet, but if you're talking about, we got to talk to the best wrestlers. It's like, tell me whether or not, or like Jordan Burroughs, right? And he says he's not retired, though he kind of took the year off. I would hope you guys have reached out or are trying to have a conversation with him, or, I don't know.
Jordan Burroughs, every time I want to talk to Jordan about wrestling, he wants to talk about coaching because he's coaching all those kids. So he's always so thrilled to discuss coaching. He's like heavily involved around coaching. So every time I put my arm around him, like, hey, Jordan, I want to talk about Real American Freestyle. He's like, hold on, let me ask you about your club.
Yeah.
So, you know, here's the thing, man. Jordan Burroughs is an absolute legend. I have the utmost respect for him. He knows how much we love him and respect him. If he wants to wrestle with Real American Freestyle, he's got a spot right next to me, and he'll be on the main event in the next card in a heartbeat.
Fair enough. Man, one guy that was supposed to wrestle, right, is obviously has been Askren, and he was pumped. He's obviously disappointed that he doesn't get to. But he wants this to succeed. He's super supportive. I just kind of got to see him for a little while, and he's excited to see this thing kind of take off. He's been trying to help professional wrestling league, number of them forever.
Well, I built a crazy relationship with Ben because we grew up together. We just live way two different lifestyles.
Yeah.
And then as lifestyles kind of come back up, not together but closer.
Yeah, overlapping.
Yeah, you see eye to eye with a lot of people that maybe you didn't see eye to eye with growing up. So, we've been growing our wrestling school, Izzy Style, for, years, and Ben was watching it go down. And when he was building Askren wrestling academies, we overlapped. Our best guys wanted to compete, and we were the rival club from Illinois, Wisconsin. It was just an amazing thing. And you have a lot of respect for Ben, as you know how I feel about Ben is I love the guy. He's been a great friend of mine. He's opened doors for me that other people probably might have kept me out of. We started Premier National League together, the PNL. I would talk to him almost every day, at least a couple times a week about growing the sport, and hearing him lecture me about being so intense, how he was just great. He doesn't give a shit who you are. He's gonna tell you exactly what he's gonna say, and you gotta listen to it or you don't, right? And I'm a guy that respects people that are winners and are great people. So I built a pretty cool relationship with Ben Askren. So when it was time for Real American Freestyle, it was a no-brainer for me. Calling my buddy Ben, who's been telling me all these different things about wrestling leagues and what he wishes and what he hopes, and one day we could do this. And it's like, no, dude, Ben knows all this stuff. Ben's been on every card. Ben's got an opinion about everything.
Yep.
So I want to hear his opinion. We bring Ben in. It was amazing. He was adamant about it right off the bat. All in. He was ready to wrestle. He was ready to wrestle. He was ready to do the weigh-ins, the press conference. He was ready to do everything that day. And we were just like, holy shit, we can't let Ben get too crazy here. Let's, Ben, how about wrestling? You haven't your last couple of performance, and that's kind of where I was pushing him. Like, come on, Ben. I've watched you play wrestle with Sinclair. I've watched him play wrestle with the guys and just maul these guys.
Right.
I'd play wrestle with them, and I felt like I was gonna get hurt. So it's like, all right, Ben, let's get you to wrestle. So
Yeah.
Ben wanted to wrestle. He wanted to take out certain guys. He wanted to be the best in the world again. He wanted to show his talents, but also he wanted to help. And that's where we are now. You know, Ben had a rough patch, as everybody knows, but we've been praying for him. And Ben's a blessing to all of us. And I'm forever grateful for Ben. And I'm also forever grateful for people that when you make the call and you're like, yo, I'm about to do something crazy, this wrestling league. And he's like, dude, I love it. And then they go down. You don't forget about them. The real men in this world, don't forget about those people. So right now we're creating opportunities for Ben. Ben's working. He's texting me at 11:30 at night. And I'm like, dude, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. And he's like, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, dude, I'm not a puss. I better get up. So I run down to my office and Ben's inspiring me to keep it going. And it's like, yeah, man, Ben can't wrestle, but Ben's in the league. He's helping us every day. And what a blessing he is. You know, if you're tired, you better get going because Ben is. If you got any excuse in your life right now, you better slap yourself out of it because Ben Askren's teaching us you better get going, you know? So I guess that's my love for Ben. Ben, we love you, man. We're super proud of you. We're excited. The league wouldn't be here without you, brother. So Ben's going to be a huge part of it.
Hell yeah, glad to hear that. This first event's coming, and I believe I heard you have a second one, maybe eyeballing in October or so. Does that sound?
So we got one in the works like no other right now, but it's not official. And I did an interview before, and I said a couple things that weren't official and almost screwed up some business. But we got a mega one coming, guys. First week in October, we have a mega event coming. We're bringing some of the top stars from around the world. November, we're headed into another big. For me, I'm here from Illinois, and you know I'm an Iowa fan, so we're headed into enemy territory. We're putting on a big event in November. That'll be announced soon. But we're gonna go big. We're trying to do a big New Year's event. We're trying to do 10 events in the next 12 months.
You're not eyeballing Carver Hawkeye Arena, are you?
Those aren't rivals. We love those guys, you know. But we're gonna be there before we know it. As everyone knows, you know, I put this thing on my desk. You know, Kennedy Blades, Tony Ramos, Mikey Caliendo, Real Woods. You know, Tom Brands, Jen Brands. You know, they're huge friends of ours. So, you know, they at one point in my life I was escorted out of Iowa, and now welcomed in. So it's pretty exciting. But we're going to be going to Pennsylvania for a November card. We're super excited about that. We're doing some really big things, and we're going to try to spread the love all over the country.
Awesome. How will you guys measure success? Whether it's card one, the first 2 or 3 or 5, like how do you say like this is working, this is success? We're going to keep rolling and make it bigger and better.
Well, I think any business that you start, you know, you're not going to get rich overnight, you know, and that's definitely not our plan. Our plan isn't. We're not even in it for that right now. We're in it to build a profitable business with great stars in the sport of wrestling and this ultimate dream that you don't have to go fight if you don't want to fight, right? You don't have to go WWE if you don't want to. You don't have to, you know, go into the jiu-jitsu world where you're playing jiu-jitsu players that have been doing it since they were 5, and you know it's tough, right? We got this league that we're measuring our success on. We're gonna take it day by day like we do now. Every day's we're having a kick-ass days daily. But our first event, we've already surpassed some of our thresholds on where we thought we're gonna be successful or not. Our media presence. I think we're gonna push. And we're going to give it our all. And I don't think we're going to fail. So we try not to look at it like that.
Yeah, sure. Did I hear Chael's involved? I feel like I see.
Yeah, so we got you know, what's cool is we got guys and people in the sport that are helping, that believe in the dream and believe in the dream that we have something special here for our sport. So we got guys like Chael he doesn't have to come. He doesn't have to do things what he's doing, but he's doing it. Chael's going to come on, get on the mic. Bubba Jenkins is going to come. He's on the mic. And as everyone knows, he's a character. He's a guy that everyone can relate to, you know, the underdog story. And last but not least, behind the mic, we got Kurt Angle. And, we got the legend Kurt Angle, who's been through everything in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want to help wrestlers. We want to bring legends back. And we think that we have a 3-man crew that are really going to really excite a lot of fans to tune in.
And I think that's really cool that you have these guys, and you see the excitement growing at the NCAA championships when it's on ESPN, and like DC wants to get involved, and Chael's involved, and Jordan's involved. And it's just like as time goes on, you have these stars who are now done competing, wanting to get back involved and stay involved with it.
Yeah, it's been pretty unique. You bump into certain athletes at Fargo as you're running from mat to mat, right? You're doing that crazy thing, and but it's great because you're running into people and they're like, "Yo, Izzy, I haven't wrestled in a while, but I want to wrestle. I didn't, we got a big announcement, Wyatt's opponent, and it's like there's certain guys that are like, dude, I didn't leave my shoes on the mat the right way. I need one more go, and I'll take on whoever you want me to." So we have some huge names that want to compete for us and want to put on a show for the fans. And those are the athletes that we want. We want the athletes that want to grow and put on a show for the fans.
Well, I never left my shoes on the right way off them. What's your lightest weight class?
Well, I think we do it. I think Clay Guida, Bader, it up.
I'll smash him. Let's go.
Hey, loser shaves their head.
All right.
This is a big boys game here. Real American Freestyle, baby. Bader, Clay Guida for all the marble.
I'm in.
Second event.
Sign me up.
All right, let's do it. Clay, let's go, baby.
Yeah, let's go. This one's for the hair.
All right, I love it.
So we're okay with gimmick matches because but I'd be all right with that. That'd be fun.
Here's what I would say. Man, I know a guy named Bader who's wrestled his whole life. I know a guy who wrestled in college. I know a guy named Guida who, is a UFC Hall of Famer. I mean, people can call it whatever they want, but I call it two dudes that are badass wrestlers and badass competitors that are just like a bunch of older guys like us that want to see that happen, right? So people can call these matchups whatever they want, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to call them: entertaining. And people are going to want to watch them. And people are going to want to watch you scrap Clay Guida. And one of you guys get your half a mullets cut off.
Well, that's part of the thing. Like, not everybody fights for the UFC title or to get a title shot. And sometimes, like you said before, it's about how entertaining the match is going to be. And partly, obviously, it's the size of the name and the draw and who's going to want to watch those guys. So that could be
I mean, it's like the Bo Nickel Jacob Cardenas matchup, right? If they were both in college, everyone would say, "Oh, Bo's going to kill him." They're not both in college.
Yeah.
And Bo's coming off that last loss in the UFC, right? So now Bo's not as invincible. If you talk to him, he's going to kill him, right? It's like in the fans' world, this is a perfect matchup. Bo could have had other athletes. We could have put Bo against several other ones, but this was the right one. Cardenas is a shooter. He's not going to just stand there, right? This is an intriguing matchup. So that's my goal. I'm the guy that gets to I'm in charge of the wrestling side. You want to wrestle in the Real American Freestyle and you want to compete, call Izzy Martinez. I will get you in the league if you want to perform, right? So that's my job in this league. I'm putting the matchups together and I'm bringing in the best wrestlers in the world. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in the top wrestlers in the world and have them scrap.
So what is Bo and Cardenas the main event of this card, or is that maybe to be announced still?
We got another announcement coming, so we're super excited. But it's going to be right up there in the final matches. Obviously, we're going to showcase our women. As you know, Holly Holm right behind me. She's really lit a fire under my butt in 2010 when I realized how awesome women's athletics really was, right? And how great they are and how competitive they are and then Kennedy. And then, so we're going to have Kennedy Blades and Sarah Hildebrandt, right there with the co-main events spots. So, we're excited to announce our main event, but yeah, the last, it's going to be a banger from card 1 all the way to card 10.
When is it? Can you tell me when you're going to announce this main event or this new? Is it this week?
Yeah, next week. Next week, Thursday, Fox and Friends Everyone knows we're live on Fox Nation. So we got a partnership with Fox and Friends.
Yep.
So we're getting a couple of our athletes to announce our main event on Fox and Friends next week.
Okay. Wow. All right, that's a big deal. I could take a guess, but I don't know. You told me why it's coming. That's my guess. And if it's yeah. Oh man. Are they selling Real American beer at the event?
Yes,
They are?
yes.
At the arena?
Yes, that's what our team's working on the backside, right? But after the event, we are having an after party sponsored by Real American Beer. We have a very famous performer performing. So it should be an awesome event, awesome after party. But Real American Beer is working with us hand in hand in promotion. And if you're thirsty, make sure you grab yourself a Real American Beer.
You got Taylor Swift coming to the after party?
Yeah, how about it? Yeah. We need a different stadium. We'd be at the Horseshoe. We'd be somewhere crazy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Swifties running around.
Yeah. Man. Okay, so this sounds like a good deal. You gonna pull it off, Izzy?
Bader, I was saying this a little bit earlier. We have choices in our life as men, and we could stay in our comfort zone, or we can continue to push and follow our dreams. And wrestling's been an unbelievable tool in my life. And my job right now is to continue to grow it. And we might not agree on how we're doing it. We might not agree on dates. We might not agree on some things, but I can tell you what we're all agree on: that we love this sport, and we're our necks on the line. We are committed to succeed. So we're very excited for that challenge, and we're very excited because, as you know, I love those challenges. I fuel myself from the haters, right? I'm not one of those guys that fuels it from whatever else other guys do. I love when people don't think we're going to succeed, and I love when people don't like what we're doing only because they're talking about us, and they're talking about us, and hopefully they have what we have and love for wrestling, and they support us.
Amazing. Well, you get talked about a lot because there's plenty of people who love you and plenty of people who don't. And that's what makes you you, though.
Well, and also too is results are results, right?
Yeah.
People can say whatever they want, but there's a lot of results going a certain direction, and you got to follow the results. And we're not here. We're not playing games. We want to win. We want this to win, so we are all in. And as you know, along the way, and I remember you, Martin, starting Flow. You pissed off a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Now you work with them hand to hand. Come on, baby. You know where we're headed.
Yeah.
We're all gonna be in this together here shortly.
Awesome, man. Well, Izzy, this is exciting. This is I love what you guys are doing, putting your neck out on the line, and going all in on this. We're looking forward to it. August 30th. Anything else you want to tell us about the league, about you, and any other thoughts in general?
Now we got, the production side's led by Eric Bischoff, as wrestling fans know. We've dotted our I's and crossed our T's in everything we can do to make this a fan-friendly environment. So we're just pumped, man. We appreciate you, Bader. Appreciate Flow, USA Wrestling. We know we're all working together to have the greatest sport in the world, and we're all going to get to where we need to be. We'll be drinking Real American beer together soon.
All right. Well, sounds good, man. I appreciate it, Izzy. I look forward to August 30th and seeing you again soon.
Hey, guys, and don't forget to continue to support Ben Askren, guys. He needs all the support and love he can get. He's the man. He's fighting. And, hopefully we get to see everybody October 30th in Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. Thanks so much, Izzy Martinez. Appreciate it. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. All right. And that's going to do it, folks. So Real American Freestyle, #1, August 30th in Cleveland, Ohio. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you next time. Bye.